Despite the high cost of earning a college degree, approximately 20 million students are currently enrolled in colleges and universities across America. It's because we know that those with college degrees typically earn more money and realize higher job satisfaction. A college degree is an investment in our future. Yet, despite over a third of Americans investing in their future by achieving college degrees, when it comes to another, arguably more important investment in their future, retirement, only 10% are confident that they have enough savings put away. And that's a problem. How big of a problem is it? On average, nearly half of Americans think there is a chance they will outlive their savings. 40% of middle-class older workers will be poor and near-poor elders in the next 12 years. And according to Northwestern Mutual's 2019 Planning and Progress study, 15% of Americans have no retirement savings at all. So why aren't adults doing a better job saving for retirement? Here are a few of the top excuses. I'm still young. There's plenty of time to save for retirement later. I can start saving for retirement once I'm out of debt. I can't afford it. I'll rely on Social Security for my retirement. Let's look at each of these and see if we can dispel these excuses or offer solutions. Excuse number one, I'm still young. There is plenty of time to save for retirement later. Actually, the longer you put off saving for retirement, the more difficult it will be for you to save. That's because of compounding interest. Let's illustrate this. Let's say we wanted to have $1 million saved for retirement, which will average out to about $55,000 annually. If you started saving at 25 and assumed a 6% rate of return, the annual salary you would need if you were putting away 10% of your income would be just under $60K. If you started at age 30, you would require an annual income of just under $84K. And if you waited until you were 40, your annual salary would need to be a whopping $172,000 to achieve a $1 million retirement savings. As you can see, the longer you put it off, the more expensive it's going to be to save. Excuse number two, I can start saving for retirement once I'm out of debt. If you ignore saving for retirement in hopes of knocking out your debt, you'll risk having inadequate funds in the future, and that could lead to more debt later in life. Instead, treat your retirement savings as another monthly bill. Have the payment automatically deducted if you can. And financial experts also recommend taking half of whatever money you're applying to your current debt and putting it into an IRA or 401k. Yes, you'll be paying down debt slower, but you'll be taking advantage of that compounding interest while you're younger, making a big difference for retirement. Excuse number three, I can't afford it. Before you convince yourself that there's no room in your budget to squeeze out some retirement savings, here's a tactic to consider. Where might you be able to lower your bills? Think cable, Spotify, maybe less Ubers, and bank the difference. Also, as you receive merit increases, raises, or promotions, immediately commit to saving a percentage of your increase into retirement. Try to commit to a minimum of 1% annually. You probably won't miss money you didn't previously have anyway. Excuse number four, I'll rely on Social Security for my retirement. Most retirees need about 80% of their former income to live comfortably. Today, for retirees who were average earners, Social Security provides about half that. However, by 2034, the entirety of Social Security's asset reserves is expected to be gone. So while payouts are expected to continue, benefit checks could be cut by up to 21%. This means you will either need to find other ways to shore up the difference or learn to live on only 25% of the income to which you were accustomed. I'm convinced. How do I begin? Let's start with how much you should save. A good goal is 10 to 15% of your gross income. Also, if your employer offers a 401k plan with a company match, at minimum, contribute up to the match amount. Otherwise, you're throwing away free money. Lastly, as we discussed, increase your contribution percentage as you receive pay increases. In conclusion, as a fellow student at Roosevelt University, or in Professor Orr's case, a former doctorate student, I know you believe in investing in your future. If you weren't already actively investing in your retirement, I hope this was the impetus you needed. If you already are, but are falling short in achieving your goals, I hope this motivates you to find new ways to shore up your accounts. Remember, it's never too late to start saving. Your future self will thank you. Hi class. The remainder of this presentation is about the persuasion tactics that I used and an explanation for why. I used 4 main persuasion tactics in this presentation. First, I applied loss aversion. According to Braffin and Braffman in their book Sway, loss aversion is the human tendency to go to great lengths to avoid possible losses. In this case, it's not having enough money for retirement. This persuasive tactic wouldn't have worked if I was arguing to pay down debt now over saving for retirement. But when it comes to avoiding the possible loss in the future, it's a great tactic to use. I was also sure to lay out the facts. As Josh Gordon put it in his book, Presentations That Change Minds, a fact-based presentation is one that asks the audience to draw their own conclusions based on a sequence of presented facts. Here, I provided a lot of different statistics and data, and then I was sure to provide the proof by creating a few scenarios that the audience might be able to connect with personally. I also provided solutions throughout the presentation. As Gordon puts it, selling a solution is about diagnosing a problem for which you can provide an answer. I started by giving some excuses for not saving, aka the problems that the viewers might be having. Then, where possible, I tried to solve those problems for the audience. Last but not least, this presentation was about making a financial case. As Gordon tells us, we can win audiences over by providing the financial benefit that will motivate them to accept your proposal. And this presentation was all about the Benjamins. I solely talked about the financial benefit for if we save for our retirement. Now, wouldn't be a great persuasive technique if I was telling you that you needed to take a trip around the world right now, but in the case of saving for retirement, it was sort of the perfect persuasive technique to use. Here's a list of references that I used, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to shoot me a note. And thanks a lot.